Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is Beth Augustine. I am the Assistant Principal for Student Services, and I just want to say, wow, this is great. This is such an awesome turnout. So thank you for giving up your time this evening to hear more information on skilled trades. So just some highlights for tonight. We have Erica Kuba, who is the Career Coordinator of Des Plaines Valley Region. Tonight she's going to share the high demand in skilled trades, the benefits and purpose of pursuing skilled trades, and then also steps on how to get started and some resources. We also have John Gardner, who is the president of Ironworks Local 1, and he is also an RB parent. So thank you for being here. And we have Tony Rotman, who is the director of training of Plumbers Local 130A. And they are going to share their professional journey and how they got into this career path, and as well as what they see the value and benefits of being in a skilled trade. But before we get started with our speakers, I just wanted to give you some background information on how we got here. It was probably back in 2019. The Student Services Department was really seeing that there was a shift in what our students were looking to do in post-secondary life. And we were really trying to find more resources for our students. And fortunately, Dr. Kevin Skinkis, who's here tonight, I'd like to recognize him, hooked us up with Mr. Bill Durkin, who is one of our current board members, who has some connections with local unions, and started to build a partnership. So I'd like to recognize Mr. Durkin, if you wouldn't mind just, standing up for a second. He's been so instrumental in ensuring that we have opportunities for our students in building this, pathway to skilled trades. So during the pandemic, the counselors spent a lot of time on Zoom, probably met with 10 to 12 different unions, getting to know what they were about and how we could promote them with our students. We actually went and visited the Plumbers Union, took a field trip, so that was exciting to do and see hands-on opportunities for students. And then we also built a trades and apprentice and internship opportunities link, and that is on our website. So this presentation will be available, so the link is there, so if it's something that you would like to explore. And then in March of 2020, we had our first trades and career fair, and every year for our students, and every year it grows and we have more representatives, and so that is exciting. And then we also started the dual enrollment program with Triton. So that was back in 22-23, and I said that we were building the plane and flying it at the same time because I didn't know if we were actually going to get students at Triton. And this program is for seniors and allows them to attend classes at Triton in the morning and then attend classes at RB in the afternoon, and the opportunity to pursue careers in EMT, nursing, welding. First year we had less than 10 students, and starting for the next school year we have close to 25. So it's a growing program and it's very exciting. So with that, I'd like to ask Dr. Skinkis to come up and say a few words, and the presentation will run about 45 minutes, and then we will definitely leave time for general questions. So again, thank you all for being here tonight. So Dr. Skinkis.
Thank you, Beth. Beth, can we go back? I just want to have this way. Right? Yeah. Perfect, thank you.
Yeah.
So I just want to take a few minutes. As a superintendent of Riverside Brookfield High School, my responsibility is to make sure that your students have opportunities, whether that's going to be going into post-secondary education, whether you're pursuing a 2-year college, a 4-year college, military, or the workforce. And I attended a workshop, like Beth is saying, right around 2020, 2021, and at this workshop they were breaking down for superintendents how there was going to be a need for students and workers to go into the trades, and that at some point it may cost as much, if not more, to get your furnace fixed as it will to get your knee replaced, because we're going to have not enough HVAC workers. I'm just using that as an example, and it may be a little bit of exaggeration, but I want you to understand what they were saying. If we don't start putting students into the trades, that there's not going to be enough people to help us operate our facilities, help us maintain our homes, help us build our workspaces, build our homes, things like that. And the amazing thing that came out to me, and I want you all to understand, this comes from a place near to my heart, because I have a 17-year-old son who's a junior. So we talk about all the different opportunities that he could pursue. And like many of you in here today, he's a good student, but he's not a great student. You know, he's an A-B student, maybe a C here or there, responsible. But I definitely could see him doing something where he needs to be active. He's not going to be able to sit behind a desk or become a superintendent necessarily, or even maybe a teacher. I don't know. But the thing that woke up for me is when they gave me this presentation, and Ms. Kuba will share with you tonight, is some of these students are going into the trades at 18 when they come out of high school, and by the time they're 21 or 22 and they're finishing up their 4-year apprenticeship, and I may be off on some of this, so my union representatives that are here tonight will speak to this, they're close to making $100,000 while your son or daughter's friend's coming home from college owing $100,000 in student loans and not sure they want to work in the degree they just completed. And so that kind of like flashed a light on for me just with my own son. And so I thought this would be, and then having a resource like Mr. Bill Durkin, who does a lot of work with the different trades unions, he brought this up to me as well, and then he introduced me to contacts and the people you're going to meet tonight. It just took off. And now we're going to have, I think, 8 students over the last 2 years that are now in the apprenticeship program with the Plumbers Union. And we're trying to build more of those relationships with the local trades unions. One other thing I want to point out to you, Ms. Augustine mentioned the dual enrollment program. So I think we have 13 students this year that are getting their certifications completed in welding. And that's really big. But also students that are sitting here, trades doesn't just have to be plumbers, carpenters, iron workers. Someone mentioned to me earlier about maybe pursuing firemen or police officer, right? I just did a phone call 2 weeks ago with the fire chief from North Riverside. And we're going to start working together because he told me, he said, hey, Kevin, when you remember when we were growing up and we had an opening in our town for a fireman, you would go to the local high school to take the test or take the physical, and there would be 200 guys for one spot. And you had to figure out where you fell on that list, and you kept your fingers crossed to where hopefully it got to where they would call you over a 3-year period that they got to your name on the list. They had 2 jobs open in North Riverside for firefighters that I believe started the high 60s, low 70s. They had 6 applicants. They're having trouble getting applicants to be firemen, which I think is a great job, is a great paying job, and you could also do things on your day off. So Beth talked about this dual enrollment program. So that's one other thing that students can pursue. You could be able to, while you're at RB, if you want to keep this simple, you come for half the day to RB where you take your math, science, English, and your classes for graduation. We waive some of those elective credits, and your elective credits are the classes you'll take at Triton, and you can get your EMT and your Intro to Fire Science. The high school will pay 100% for the classes, and we'll also pay for the bus that will drive you back and forth from RB to Triton. And the idea is, I'm trying to create a farm system for all the local fire departments so that we can have kids from our own communities coming back and serving in our local fire department. So that's another avenue that will be available to students. So if that's something you want to pursue and you're not sure that you want to go into one of the trades, that's also another avenue. But we wanted to make sure you had some exposure to those things tonight because that's a really great opportunity for your students. And the board's really gotten behind this 100%. And it's just a good opportunity. So I hope you enjoy what you hear tonight. Ask questions, and I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Erica Kuba.
All right, sorry. This isn't it? Oh, gosh, sorry. No, you're good. Sorry about that, guys. Thank you very much. I'm not really good with not having a mouse because I'm coming from the 1980s, and so I like a mouse, so bear with me on this. My name is Erica Kuba. I'm the career coordinator for Des Plaines Valley Region, and I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about trades, not just the trades program that we will be offering for the summer, but just kind of trades in general. Keep in mind that I am not your expert. We do have experts here, so keep those questions for them at the end. But I do kind of want to just open it up and talk a little bit about the different trades and why we kind of started this program. Okay, so to tell you who I am, I work for Des Plaines Valley Region, where I work for Education for Employment. So what I do is my office sits at Triton, and I work with 9 different high schools that all feed into Triton Community College. What we really try to promote is career and technical education. So any of those classes that you take at school, whether it's culinary, whether it's business, education, construction, autos, all of those classes are considered career and technical education. And what we do at our office is make sure that funding that you get from the federal government or from the state, that it's being used at the schools and that it's going to where it needs to be going, that we're getting the equipment that we need. RBTV is in the back right now, and that audio visuals, that is career and technical education. So we want to make sure that we're getting those nice cameras that we can use so that when our students are learning this material, they have the stuff that they're using in the industry so that they can be prepared when they leave high school, if that is a career that they want. So that is what we do in my office. We have worked really hard these past couple of years to kind of connect more with industry and to make sure that we're giving students all types of post-secondary success. So like Dr. Skink has said, not just 2 years or 4 years, sometimes you might go right into the industry. So we want to make sure that our students are prepared. So we're really working with work-based learning and making sure that we're giving students options. We've applied for a couple of grants, and with those grants, we're able to offer opportunities like this, where we have programs where we're actually being able to pay students for their work-based learning. So it's very exciting, but I do work with all 9 high schools. I will say I am a Brookfieldian, so my son will eventually be going to RB. I don't have a favorite school though, so I just wanted to throw that out there. So why the trades? I think Dr. Skinkus really hit the nail on the head, if that's the right saying, when he was talking about it. I pulled this right from the sheet metal workers website. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the average graduate of the class of 2024 has approximately $37,000 in student loan debt. And the average salary of the sheet metal worker is more than $45,000 annually, plus benefits and no student debt. So I kind of try to have a little figure there so you can see, do you want $37,000 of debt in 1 year, or you can make $45,000 of debt? Or I'm sorry, make $45,000. So I just think that just seeing that and hearing it and knowing that that's an actual statistic that we're pulling from an actual website shows the value of the trades just there. Potential earnings. Now, I tried to pull what I could out of the websites that the information is available, so this might not be 100% updated, but just look at this as like an almost, okay? So Mid-American Carpenters, in year 1 of the apprenticeship, an apprentice is making about $40,000. Year 2, $52,000. Year 3, $61,000. IBEW electricians, the first year they start at $44,000-ish, and then their wage increases every 10% every 6 months. So as they go through their apprenticeship, every 6 months, they're getting more and more money, okay? And a couple trades are like that too. And then there's heavy equipment operators, year 1 starting at $49,000. A lot of these are gonna be a certain percentage of what that journeyman worker is. And there's different apprenticeships where there might be a 3-year apprentice. Sometimes you're in an apprenticeship for 5 years, which is a little bit more common. But you can see that these are all pretty high wage careers, especially when you're starting your first year and you're 18 years old. I know that I have a hard time with my own finances as an adult, but coming out of high school right away and being able to make that kind of money is really life-changing. So what are the trades? The trades refer to skilled labor industries. And again, Dr. Skinkis, I feel like he was stealing my material up here. We're talking about all different types of trades. So there's the construction and building trades, there's manufacturing, industrial trades, transportation and automotive, public services and infrastructure, and there's even services like hospitality that is even considered trades in certain situations. So for the purpose of the trades program and tonight, when I talk about the trades that we're focusing on, we really are focusing more on those construction and building trades. So you see a list here. This is not all of them. I just kind of wanted to give people an idea. And again, we'll let our experts talk about their journeys in those trades in a little bit here, but just you can see the trades that we'll be focusing on. So carpenters, electricians, plumbers, HVAC technicians, bricklayers, iron workers, pipe fitters. These are all those constructions and building trades that we'll be focusing on in the program for the summer. When I was thinking about different things to focus on, I recalled a conversation that I had with actually my son's babysitter, and he told me that he knew he wanted to work with his hands, but he didn't know what he wanted to do. And I feel like I hear that all the time. And people, when they say that, are like, I want to be either HVAC or carpenters, because that's what they're hearing right now is HVAC or carpenters. But when I ask them what they think that entails, they don't necessarily know what all of those things mean. So when I was talking to him, I said, well, RB does this great pre-apprenticeship with the plumbers, and you have an opportunity at the end to get extra points on your exam if you go through it. Why don't you try it and see if it's something that you like? So he signed up, and now next year he's going to be an apprentice. He made it in, he took his application, he took the test, and he was like, thank you so much. I didn't even know that. I would have never thought that I want to be a plumber, and this is exactly what I want to do, and this is like life-changing. And I'm like, I'm so glad that you took the leap, and I'm so glad that you took just the chance to just even see if you would like it. So the reason we're doing this program is so that people who know that they're good with their hands, but they don't know exactly how or what they want to do, can start exploring things to see what is a good fit for them. Maybe you're really good at welding and you want to be a welder. That doesn't mean that you just can be a welder. There's careers like iron workers, pipe fitters, plumbers. Welding is in those careers. So we really want to make sure that students understand all of this and that we're focusing on that so that they can make the best decision for their post-secondary careers. I know that I've made a career change 3 times, and it's never an easy decision when you're jumping from hotel management to human resources to now here I am in education. You always start at the bottom. So we want to make sure that when these students, they're going into those careers, they're starting with their benefits and their pensions, and they're starting right away, and they're only going to continue to grow. We don't want them to make that decision 7 years down the line and be like, oh, I wish I would have done this, or I wish I would have done that. And all those things, the mistakes that we made, we're trying to learn from and explain these to the students so that they can make those choices for themselves. Manufacturing and industrial trades, I'm just going to kind of go through these really quickly because these aren't what we're 100% focusing on, but it's because we focus on these when we're talking about those dual enrollment programs. So the manufacturing and industrial trades, there's machinists and tool makers, welders, CNC operators, and industrial mechanics. And like Ms. Augustine and Dr. Stankus were saying, we have those dual enrollment programs and even dual credit programs. So there's some classes that the high school teachers are teaching here at RB, and they're dual credit, and students are earning college credit for those classes. And then there's that program where those students are actually going to Triton and taking those classes in the morning. So we have that, especially with our manufacturing. There is a welding pathway where we have a lot of students who are going through that. So that's why for the trades program for the summer, that's not something that we're going to 100% focus on, but we will touch it a little bit. There's also transportation and automotive, so auto mechanics, diesel technicians, and truck drivers. Again, RB has a great auto program right here in-house, which is great for the students to kind of do that exploration, take that class. Maybe you want to be an auto technician. There's an auto shop, I guess, right across the street here where students are taking classes. And then public service and infrastructure, there's jobs like elevator mechanic, lineman, and then those firefighters and EMTs that we were talking about. So great opportunities all around in the trades. The firefighters and EMTs, we have dual enrollment programs at Triton as well. Right now we have students in criminal justice, and on Fridays they are working actually at police departments. We have students who are next Friday, even though they have it off, they are going to be going up to Norwich and working with one of the criminal investigation technicians who's setting up a crime scene for the students so that they can see what it would be like to actually be on an investigation at a crime scene. So great opportunities for all students in all types of trades from everywhere. So I kind of touched on this already, but how to enter trades in Chicago? Well, now is a good time because they're looking for those hard workers. Right now, when I originally talked to Tony and I was introduced to him by Mr. Durkin, he was like, we have a 30-year-old apprentice right now who's coming in with their parent and saying that they were sorry that they missed work. And we want to change that narrative. So we want to make sure that our students who are going into these apprentices have their best foot forward. They're given all the tools to succeed, not only in math and tool safety, but also in career development and professionalism, and that they know how to grow their own character and be their best selves all the time. And that's what we want to produce in all of our high schools with all of our students. But now's the opportunity, now's the time to shine, because there are people who are coming in who are 20, but our 30, but our 18-year-olds and 19-year-olds are coming out and they're looking better. You guys are doing great. And we ended up having a lot of people who were accepted into the apprenticeship program even this year. I'm sure Tony has like numbers for you, but who are coming right out of high school. Technical trades and schools, that's what I was talking about with Triton Community College. That's considered kind of more of a technical school. They have a lot of technical classes, and there are actual trade schools that you can go to as well. For example, if you wanted a career in manufacturing, there's TMA. That's a trade school that's going to focus on specifically that CNC and machine building. And then there's those like high school CTE programs that I was talking about, those auto classes that our students can take so they can do some career exploration. So now I'll get down to the trades boot camp. I already kind of told you what the purpose of the boot camp is. We really want to make sure that our students, all of our students, are prepared for post-secondary success after they leave the building as seniors. So this program is going to focus on hands-on experiences, problem solving, site visits, and certifications. So I'm just going to kind of deep dive into all of the aspects of the program. For the trades experience, students are going to focus on carpenter's math. They will be going off in a carpentry trades math book. They will be able to master skills with measuring and using a tape measures. You'll be surprised how many people don't know how to do that. So some of it's just getting down to the basics, understanding decimals, understanding how to use fractions, improper fractions, and all of that good stuff, and anything that you would need in any of the trades. Also with tool safety, this is going to help you with not only the trades, but any single job that you ever have, knowing how to be safe, whether it's with tools or just in an environment in general. You're going over proper PPE and hazardous materials and what we do with that. So all of that stuff's going to be helpful for a student to be successful in any career. Career readiness, this is something that I'm so passionate about. I'm coming from human resources, and there's nothing that I love more than helping people prepare for actually being ready to be in a career. So we are going to be focusing on preparing, making sure everyone has the best resumes. And I'm not talking about making them pretty in Canva. I'm talking about making them have actual meaning, so that if somebody is looking at a resume, the student sticks out, not because they have pretty designs, but because what they have on the resume actually means something. It's talking about the skills. having OSHA 10 as a certification, having CPR as a certification on your resume, having these resume builders saying I participated in a trades boot camp program or a pre-apprenticeship program. That's meaningful for an employer to see. That's showing dedication. So we want to make sure that the students are building those resumes and understand what makes them stand out from all the rest of their competitors and their peers. We'll participate in mock interviews. I have students on Friday who come up to me and I say, what do you wear if you're going to go into an interview? And they say, well, you wear business casual. And I say, great, what's business casual? And then it's crickets. They don't know what business casual is. And that's okay because there's so many ambiguous words and so many different things. And even what I think is appropriate to wear in the workplace isn't always is you guys know what I mean. So I just think that learning this career readiness and preparing ourselves and preparing those students to interview, to know what to say, to understand that when you walk into an interview, you put your phone away before you even walk in. You don't look at it one time because the second that you walk through the door, every single person that you say hi to is part of your interview. So we're teaching those students all of that kind of stuff too, to make sure that they're prepared for any career. They'll also be talking to those industry professionals who were successful in their roles. So there's nothing better than being around individuals who you want to be like. Become your role models. They can become your best friends and mentors. So we want to help kind of introduce those students to those industry professionals as well. We'll be doing site visits and team-based challenges. So what I think is really important for exposure is to actually physically see. There's only so much that I can tell somebody. There's only so much that whoever our instructor is can tell someone. But when they're actually at the place, like if you actually go to the Plumbers Training Center or the Carpenters Union and you walk around and you see people working around, you see what they're working on. You see the ceilings that the carpenters can make and how beautiful they can be. You see how the Plumbers Training Center reminds me, I feel like I'm in like Amazon or some like cool place, like the city skylines behind you. And it just helps you realize that you are in a safe place and that it's inclusive and it's not intimidating and that you can understand if you can see yourself there. Is this where I belong? Is this where I fit? So we want to physically bring those students to those places so they can see that. They can see themselves in these types of roles and then do hands-on activities so they can say, well, I liked when I did this at this location and we did this at another location and it wasn't my strength, right? And reflecting on that and understanding what they're good at and what they could there's more opportunities for. So these site visits and these team-based challenges are going to be really important for their success. Certifications, like I said, students in the program will be getting OSHA 10 certifications and CPR certifications at no cost. Those are always great to have on resumes, and they're always great skills to have. So logistics of the program, this program is going to be a 6-week-long program. It is going to run alongside Leiden East High School's summer school program. So you can see the dates on the screen here. It's primarily Monday through Thursdays with Fridays off. There is one Friday, June 20th, where students will be in attendance because they will have June 19th off for the holiday. There also will be 1 week between the two sessions where students will have off the week of July 4th. Even though it is 2 separate sessions, it is still the same 25 students for all 6 weeks, with each week students going to a different site, a different trade, having different speakers come in to do different highlights of different trades every single week. It is at East Leiden High School, and the address is right there, right in Franklin Park. From RB, it's just right down 25th Avenue here. So students will be traveling via bus to all these different sites, but they will need reliable transportation to and from Leiden High School. It starts at 8 a.m. in the morning and it will go to 12:30. The doors will open at 7:15 at Leiden High School if students need to go earlier, and there also will be breakfast available at Leiden for grab and go. Students will be paid a stipend for participating in this program. We want to make sure that there's no barriers. So if a student's like, I really want to start working so that I can save up to get a car, whatever it might be, right? We want to make sure that they're still getting able to have this opportunity. So students will receive a stipend equal to about $17 an hour. They'll receive 2 different stipends, or a stipend twice during the first session and then one at the end, at the last 3 sessions. And then there are no vacations that we can take. This is very highly competitive. We only have 25 slots available, and I already have 73 students who are interested in the program. So if there is a week that you know that you're not going to be able to make it, I'm still more than happy to help you in any way, and show you the different trades and give you different communications of the different trades that are available and who's accepting applications and when. But unfortunately, there will be no excused absences. Students are only allowed to have 1 absence during the program. After that 1 absence, they would be asked to leave the program. Who and how to apply. So this is for rising seniors, so anyone who is a junior now and will be a senior next year. This is the students that we're looking for. The goal of the program is that next year during the senior year, any applications that are available for any of the different apprenticeships or trades that are open, that those students are prepared for those trades in that application. Again, there's only 25 spots. I do have a lot of people who are interested, but not a lot of resumes. So in order to qualify for the program, you need to fill out the Google form, the interest form, but you also need to make sure that you send me your resume. Part of this is just knowing how to follow through with directions. So make sure that if it's something that you're interested in, that I get all of that information by April 30th. That will be the last day for accepting any interest forms or applications. The QR code is right here. There's also flyers and posters throughout the building. And then this is my email address, careercoordinator@dvr-efe.org. And we will inform students no later than May 9th if you have been selected to be a part of the program. Students will be selected based on a grading rubric. Did you fill out the form? Do you have your resume in? Do you have a 2.0 GPA? So there will be different points for each one of those questions, and then all the students that qualify will be put into a lottery. We will be pulling an additional 5 students to be put on a wait list. So the first 2 weeks after we have sent out who is accepted into the program, students have about 2 weeks to make sure that they get all those signatures and permission slips and all that good stuff signed. And if we don't have all that in by those 2 weeks, and we will give out an exact deadline for that, then we will start pulling students from the wait list. So that's all I have. Again, I'm not the complete expert on trades, so we're going to take time before we go over questions for the program or for the trades and actually learn from the experts. I'll have Ms. Augustine.
Before I introduce our next guest, I did want to highlight, Erica mentioned our auto program, and we do have the auto shop, and we have a very talented and skilled auto teacher, Mr. Ben May. And we had a representative from the Mechanics Union Local 701 spent a day with our students this week, just going over opportunities in the field of mechanics, as well as potentially recruiting students for the union once they graduate. So that's another exciting opportunity for students that we're building a partnership with the Mechanics Union. So I'm going to ask John Gardner to come up and share some of his experience with you, and then we'll have Tony share some of his. So, but thank you to Erica. If we could give her a round of applause for her information. So.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Nice to see such a great turnout. I'm John Gardner. I'm the president of Iron Workers Union, local number 1. And more importantly, I'm an RB Bulldog parent. Woof, woof. That's for you, Dr. Freitas. That's for you. But yeah, so I live in North Riverside for the last 18 years. My daughter graduated in 2023. She goes to St. Mary's College now. My son is a senior, Peter Gardner. Maybe some of you know him. Hope I'm not, he's probably embarrassed that I'm here because that's how our kids are, right? So you might be asking, what is an iron worker? What do iron workers do? Do you guys work in steel mills or, what is it? No one knows it unless they grew up around it or had family members. So iron workers, we work assembling and erecting steel buildings out of structural steel and reinforcing steel. We do this on construction projects all over the greater Chicagoland area, whether it's professional sports stadiums, every skyscraper you see downtown, hospitals, churches, every type of bridge you can imagine, whether it's over rivers, whether it's highway overpasses, we construct all of those. Working in tandem with giant cranes that you probably see, either downtown or along 294, there's all the work going on where they're rebuilding all the bridges. So we work in tandem with the big cranes. We erect giant steel columns and steel beams. The crane lifts them into place. We connect them either using heavy structural bolts, steel bolts, or welding all the steel together. So we kind of essentially build the entire skeleton of the building or whatever type of project it is. And then all the other trades follow behind us, appropriately scheduling and doing their work to complete the project. So, we're like the superheroes on the job, kind of, right, Bob? Also here is Bob Bass is our apprenticeship coordinator. Special Forces, right. So Bob runs our apprenticeship program. Our school and our union hall are right here in Forest Park. If you were going north on Des Plaines Avenue, go through Cermak, the first turn you can make on the right side is Industrial Drive. It's right where that Life Fitness or Life storage facility is. So we're very close. We're right down Industrial Drive. We have 3 buildings there and our apprenticeship training school. Bob runs all that. Our apprenticeship it's a 3-year program. And it's similar to what you were saying. The kids get paid a percentage. I say kids, they're not always kids, of all age groups, but yeah, the apprentices get a pay raise every 6 months. And the apprenticeship runs concurrent like a school year from September through June. Our apprentices work. They're out in the field working on job sites all day. They come to the school 3 hours a night, 2 nights a week. Sometimes 3 nights a week, depending on which level you're at as far as, in your progression of the apprenticeship. But the best part about it is our kids get paid to go to school. They get paid. While they're there, after they leave work, their regular day job, they come there. Our first period apprentices start at, I believe, $35.56. That's first day, that's what you're making just as a wage. But there's also a separate annuity plan. You have $13 an hour being contributed to. There's a pension plan. You have $11 an hour being contributed to. There's health and welfare. You're getting health insurance for yourself immediately. So, if you're in a second or third or fourth period of apprenticeship, you're at school 3 hours at night, getting paid $90 to $100 an hour to be there. So it's a very good program, and we teach our kids a lot. So just a short history of how I arrived at being the president of Local Iron Workers. My father was an iron worker. My 2 older brothers are iron workers. I attended Holy Cross High School in River Grove, and it was good. I did good enough there to go to Loyola University for 2 years. Then I left there because it was a whopping $6,500 a year. It was like, 10 times more than that now. But at that point in time, taking on that kind of debt without really any goal or any really purpose to be there, I went to University of Illinois Chicago for a year. And again, I was there, had absolutely no idea why. I didn't know what I was doing there. I just knew this is what I was supposed to do. And, the reason I believe that transpired that way, all the high schools in the 80s, I think, in my belief, was they were driven to high school or college admission. What's your percentage? How many kids are going to college? Are you 90, 95? And that was like the unspoken, is a success story if you went to college. That made you a success. And that just really wasn't the case for a lot of kids. My question is, of all that 95% that you want to brag about sending to college, how many of them actually left there with a 4-year degree that they actually put to use? And how many left after a year, 2 years, 3 years, with massive debt, still really no direction to what they want to do with their life, so it just seemed like it wasn't, I just really appreciate the way Dr. Skinkis and with Bill Durkin, the way they respect, they recognize that there are, individuals that there's other paths to success. Back then, it was just like, this is the path, get on it, or you're kind of a failure, which was just really a disservice of so many kids that went off to school for no great reason, and then, it just didn't pan out for them. So yeah, I'm a perfect example of that. And after the 3 years, then I did realize, I love working with my hands. I was familiar with the trades through my family, and I was fortunate enough to get in Local 1 Ironworkers Union, and that was 1989. I bought my first house on January 1st, 1994. I moved into my house. Within 5 years of getting into this, I was buying a house. So that just speaks to, instead of taking on massive debt, and I will say that I spent 3 years in college, so it was valuable, and I really believe it assisted me in becoming president of my union. So I'm not downplaying that college does have value, but not if you're going to take on $200,000 in debt and not really leave there with anything beneficial. So yeah, I became an iron worker, loved it, had worked on so many great projects in downtown Chicago and sports stadiums, and every time we're downtown with my family and if my wife or kids say how beautiful the skyline is, I always say you're welcome, because we built it. We literally did. So, sorry, I did write down remarks, but I got invited to this a short time ago, a few weeks ago, but I was in Washington, D.C. just until I landed at 1 o'clock this afternoon. But when the gentleman here invited me, I just said, you know what, I want to be there. So I made the effort because this is important, and the trades are important. Bill and I kind of coordinated. I'm going to take a little credit. When Bill and I talked 3 or 4 years ago, and then, because we live in the same neighborhood, we see each other around a lot, and got things together with the plumbers, and a bunch of other trades were there also, and then it just kind of took off.
John was instrumental to introduce me to Jim Floyd, business manager president at Public Local 130, who introduced us to Tony, which is how this program,
Well,
for John, I think this would have never taken off. It never
Well.
happened without that introduction, so thank you, John.
well, it was your initiative and your effort, so thank you. Ironwork, it's a physically demanding trade. It is tough. The winters are cold, the summers are hot, but it's just, to me, it just is so gratifying when you drive out of downtown, or you're driving into downtown in the morning and you see the building you're working on, or you drive around and, I worked on that, I built that, I did this. It's a really, I just really love it that, other people appreciate it and are utilizing what we've built over the years. So we do have an apprenticeship program that we take applications for every couple of years. It's actually perfect timing because our apprenticeship registration is opening up May 1st, coming up. I have some flyers up here. If anybody's interested, you can take a flyer. There's a QR code, a lot of other information on there. And it does say on there you need to be 18 to be an applicant. That's a little bit misleading. If you pass the test and you are put on a list, and when you're called to come to work, you need to be 18. So you don't need to be 18 to apply. But when Bob reaches out to you, because we might take a list of 100 people, and depending on how much work is available, just based on the economy, Bob calls guys appropriately timed, like, okay, we're going to take 10 more guys. Okay, we'll take 10 more guys. Might not be for 6 months, might not be for a year, but you're on the list, and as work comes up, we'll be able to bring guys on. So that's our trade. That's what we do. That's my story. And Bob will be here, and I'll be here to answer any questions. Bob deals with the apprenticeship on a very, micro basis, so he can answer a lot more questions about any technical things. So that's all I have to say. Thank you for listening to me, and I appreciate everyone coming out tonight.
Thank you so much, John. That was very helpful. So now I'm going to have Tony Rotman come up from the Plumbers Union and share a little bit of his experience and maybe also share the program that the partnership RB has with the union.
Hello, everybody. My name is Tony Rotman. I'm the training director for Plumbers Local 130. Like John said, all tradesmen have a gift for every time they're driving anywhere with their family to go, I built that. I did that. I worked on that place. And they get tired of it, right? Fair to say? All right. So I became the training director a little over 2.5 years ago. And your team from RB, led by Bill Durkin, approached me about a program to do a pre-apprenticeship. So we, along with RB, Chicago Public Schools, began what we call a bridge program. And it is a bridge program into our trade as plumbers. But what we teach also transcends into ironworking, being an electrician, you name it, HVAC. We teach the basics, how to do basic trade-related math, use and care of tools, job safety. We offer this to seniors in high school that RB will select and send to us. And then if you go to, we're doing an 8-week program, 2 nights a week, 2 hours a night. And for all of you students, who do we have that are seniors here? Anyone? Seniors? Who are the juniors? All right, you juniors, I want you to sign up for this coming year when you're a senior. So you go for 8 weeks, 2 nights a week. All you have to do is pass the classes. It's a fairly simple thing. Show up, pass the classes. We have tremendous instructors. We have apprentices that are actually acting as instructors for you, that some of which came through this program already and are now our apprentices. And what we do is we give you 5 points towards our aptitude test. Before you even walk in the door and put your name on it, you get 5. Then we introduce you to our contractor base. We have an interview day. If they want to sign on, and that's where being a good interviewer, as Erica brought up, comes up. If they give you a letter of intent to hire, that gives you an additional 10 points before you walk in to take that aptitude test. You have 15 points ahead of just anybody coming in off the street. It's huge. We have an incoming class right now that we're bringing on in May. So some of your high school seniors, some people that you're in school with right now are going to be our apprentices. I believe the number is 8 that we brought in from DVR. So 8, and I think we started with 18 this last?
Around 20.
Okay, so around 20. They tested in, they did a great job. We use an independent testing company that all the trades use. So it is completely independent. You take that test, you get the extra points, and God willing, you get in, and we're off and running. So some of your classmates will start we bring them in May for our orientation week, which we contact the school, say we need you for a week. We teach you OSHA 10, basic trade-related stuff, so you're ready. You come back to school, you graduate in June. That following Monday, we have you on a job site. You as an 18-year-old will be making over $20 an hour the Monday after you graduate high school. We have 2 pension systems, health care, all of which do not come out of your pocket, so the parents there. Our contractors pay for our health care, pay for our pensions, same as the ironworkers. We're all basically set up the same. There is no college debt. You have a book fee, so basically it's about $1,200. We give you an iPad, all the curriculum you're going to need for our 5-year apprenticeship. That's it. The rest, you get paid to go to school. So we're set up a little differently than the ironworkers. We come out, you're on the job 4 days a week. We give you a school day, 1 day a week for 3 years. That school day is your work day. You get paid to be there. We pay you to go to school. The 4th and 5th year of your apprenticeship, you're going to go to school at night for 2 hours a week. Just to make up, we have to get some more school hours, a little bit more detailed and fine-tuned to what you want to get into in the trade. A plumber is not just working on toilets. Everybody thinks that. We're building the high rises. We're bringing life into what the superheroes built the skeleton of. All right? There is not a building in the world without plumbing. Some of the parents here, lead replacement. That's all our work. That's 50 years worth of work, infrastructure. It's huge. That's ours. Plumbers Local 130 is the largest straight line plumbing local, I'm going to say, in the world. In the United States and Canada at least. We control 17 counties in the state of Illinois. We have 3 training centers. The one that you will attend is in the West Loop in Chicago, right by the United Center. We have one in Volo, which is on the Wisconsin border, and one also in Joliet. So we have about 6,500 members, and we're growing. We're growing like crazy. We need you. We all need you, every trade, whether it's the ironworkers, the plumbers, electricians, sheet metal, you name it. We're here for you. It's not the opposite. So I encourage you to please sign up. So if you start 18 years old, you're going to make over $20 an hour. In 5 years, at the ripe old age of 23 years old, you're going to be well over $60 an hour on the check, plus full benefits. Full benefits, 2 pensions, best health care money can buy, and you're off and running. So if you do it right, you're going to have a great career. A little bit about myself. I was you. I was 18 years old. I went to Notre Dame High School in Niles. My dad's a plumber. My uncle's a plumber. That's how I knew about the trade. I think my dad wanted to make sure I got out of the house, so he made sure I became a plumber. So at 18 years old, I got in the apprenticeship. 23 years old, I journeyed out. I had my plumbing license. We're licensed through the state of Illinois because of public health, and we're off and running. I'm a 30-year member already. I'm in charge of our training department. It is a great career. You never know what's going to take you. It can take you from high rises to service work to infrastructure, running water main, sewers, water services, you name it. AI is huge. AI will never take our jobs. It's never going to take our jobs. In fact, it's creating job opportunities for us. A computer cannot put pipe in, cannot hang structural steel. It's not going to happen. We are heavily computerized, though, from the times that me and John came on and Bob came on. If you would have told me 30 years ago a computer was going to be involved in my life, I would have laughed at you. But we are all computerized now. Every one of these buildings is laid out on a computer from start to finish. So we're very technical. Math is key to us. Science is key to our trade. You don't have to be a mathematician, though. I was a C student in math. I hated math, and I got into the building trades. And about 6 months in, I wondered what the hell I was doing. But we teach math differently. We do a lot of geometry, a lot of algebra, but it's trade-related math. So instead of seeing it in a book and trying to figure out what A, B, and C are, which are letters to me, now we put it in pipe, and we have it in your hand, and we teach you the right way to do it. The trades are a great way to make a living. Great way to make a living. 5 years, you walk out, you're making over $100,000 a year, no debt, and you're off and running. You have a career that's going to take you anywhere you want to go. So I thank you for your time. If you have any questions, I'm here to answer anything you have. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Tony. Before we take questions, I would also like to thank Dr. Freitas, who's in the back of the room, our principal that I know everyone knows. This is the 4th series, the 4th event for the Parent University this year. So I want to thank him for his vision and having the idea to do this. So yeah, let's give him a round of applause. I'd also like to recognize Kylie Fletcher. She is our Director of Communications, correct? Community engagement, I want to get her title correct. So Kylie is instrumental in promoting all of our events, the Parent Series, Parent University, but really just promoting clubs, activities, sports. This is her 2nd year at RB, and she's done an amazing job. So thank you, Kylie, for that. And if we could just give a round of applause to Erica and to John and to Tony, to Mr. Durkin, for Bob for being here. I feel like I learned so much. And we in Student Services really want to support you through your post-secondary journey, wherever that is. If you have any general questions for our guests, we welcome those now. If you have some very specific questions, again, I know that Tony and John and Bob will be available afterwards if you want to come up. But any general questions that someone has that they would want to ask? Absolutely.
I just want to make a little clarification. Tony explained his apprenticeship pay program so eloquently, I realized I didn't really do a good job. So if our apprentices are on a job making $45 an hour, $50 an hour on their check, on their wage, when they've worked their 8 hours that day, so when they go to school at night, that's overtime. And all of our overtime is double time. We don't have any time and a half. It's all double time. So if you're making 45 during the day, you're making 90 to be at school for those couple hours. So just want to clarify that for you. I don't think I did a good job earlier. No, okay. That was all.
Want us to run an auction for the plumbers and iron?
Yeah.
If you're afraid of heights, I'm your guy.
There you go. Any general questions? Yes, go ahead. Here, My
son doesn't go to RB, but thankfully he expressed an interest in the trades to our counselor at OPRF. So is that still, yeah. Like, I mean,
Yes, the
RB
trade
had
boot camp is
because we
open to
understand
any
that-
high school students in the DVR program.
Yes.
So that would be Oak Park as well as Proviso, Leiden, RB,
Ridgewood.
Ridgewood, and Elmwood.
Yep.
But they need to contact their counselor and inquire for DVR.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, who wants to answer that? Here, Bob.
So you can, no, I don't need a mic.
You're gonna yell?
No, I don't yell, I just talk loud. I'm
Oh.
not yelling, I'm an iron.
Oh, got it.
You can apply while you're 17. And John explained that sometimes it takes a long time. You're high on the list, and your number comes up, and I call you, and you're not 18 yet. I will hold you there until you turn 18, and then you're able to start working.
We're similar with the plumbers. If you're 17, as long as you're graduating, we ask the high schools, we need a letter saying that you're in good standing, you're on the way to graduate. Apply at 17, you're gonna test in, we'll accept you in May. If you're gonna turn 18 within that couple of months timeframe, we want you.
Yeah, if you're 17 and a junior, wait till you're a senior to apply. It won't work out.
Yeah, go ahead.
saying that you were going to move, what do trades look like in other states compared to Illinois? And would it be more difficult to get in based on the fact that we're not moving to rural?
All right, our apprentices make $35.56 an hour. It's higher than 90% of the journeymen in the country. We have a very high rate. So if you move, typically you're not going to make as much as if you move.
But it does open up pathways because, like, we're local one in Chicago, and we cover all of Lake County, part of Henry County. We cover a big geographic area. But around us are other locals, ironworker locals, and around the country. And we all belong to the International in Washington, D.C. That's where our headquarters are. So, if we had people that wanted to go, hey, I'm moving to Georgia. Could you hook me up with the people down there in Atlanta, that local? Call them, let them know, come in there, I'm gonna be looking for work, or I'm gonna stay there permanently, and I wanna become a member of that local. Those are connections we have all over the country. That's what I was doing this week in Washington, meeting with all the building trades and,
Is that for people who are interested in apprenticeship or you would help them get started?
If you move to another area, you would just contact
we're also structured similarly, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
We all have our international unions. Our international union, the United Association, we're United States, Canada, Australia, and Ireland. So if you are in our program and you decide to move anywhere in there, you can transfer into that local union. Now, when you transfer in, to their point, our wage rates are a lot higher than different parts of our international jurisdiction. So that is all affected by it, but yes, you can transfer into a different local in the trade. Plumbers Local 130.
So we'll hang around up here if anyone has any specific questions. Please use your school counselors for future questions as your student journeys through their high school career. Thank you so much for being here. I hope this was valuable and you could clearly see the passion from our speakers and the work that Erica does. So have a great evening and thank you so much for being here.